24 hours since we first broke the news right here at noon. NFL legend, Hollywood actor, and controversial figure O.J. Simpson is now dead. And he, of course, leaves behind a really complicated legacy. And people here in Atlanta remember how polarizing he was back in the 90s.
And it's really hard to explain, Lana, to young people who weren't around in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, just how famous and then infamous O.J. Simpson really was. He went from being one of the most beloved athletes and celebrities to the most controversial and, yes, polarizing after being charged and then acquitted of murdering his ex-wife and her friend. You think the Trump trials are a big deal, the YSL trial? Well, the O.J. Simpson trial in 1995 eclipsed them all and more. It was broadcast on TV all day, every day for 9 months. A murder mystery, legal thriller, soap opera, and reality show all rolled into one. The issues of race, criminal justice, policing, popular culture all played a role at a time in our country where wounds were still very fresh from the Los Angeles riots that came after police were exonerated in the brutal beating of an unarmed black man named Rodney King. And when O.J. was found not guilty, the jury deliberating for only a few hours, the country was stunned and divided. Black America saw it as a much-needed correction within the criminal justice system. Whites were mystified over how Simpson could be acquitted given all the evidence against him. The trial involved a celebrity, it created new celebrities, and it featured moments that those who lived through it will never forget.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
That glove, if it don't fit, you must acquit.
When they called the verdict out and said, not guilty, I was in labor. I don't know, that would put me in labor, but I was in labor.
Simpson would be found liable for the murders in civil court and would also serve jail time for his involvement in a sports memorabilia robbery. But for people of a certain age, his death this week, announced yesterday, was like a trip down memory lane. Where were you? People were asking each other, even as many of the conflicts and the questions the O.J. case raised are still relevant and with us today.